Hello and welcome to Design. My name is Maria and today we're going to be talking about cotton. This is quite a new series that I've started. I only have one video before this and it's about silk. It's actually pretty interesting, pretty cool, so I encourage you to check it out maybe after this video. So today we're talking about cotton, its history, how we use it in today's world. So let's just get started. So the origin of cotton is quite complex. It is not known exactly because several isolated civilizations have cultivated cotton by themselves, some having more like a progressive style of doing it, some making like a certain type of machines or having a better process of cultivating and actually creating garments, but quite a large number of cotton has been found in tombs dating back to 1300 BC in areas where it is usually hot and not as humid, thus saving the garments or fibers in their pristine condition since moisture doesn't aid in decay of the fiber. But the oldest known cotton textile that has been found is dated back to 4500 BCE, located in Huaca, Peru. There were some samples that were found dating back to 3000 BCE in Mexico and Arizona, and it's estimated that about 5000 years ago, cotton was cultivated in India. 1500 BCE, cotton was mentioned in Hinduism. Herodotus, an ancient Greek historian, mentions Indian cotton in the 5th century BCE, cotton exceeding beauty and goodness than sheep wool. Alexander the Great invaded India, after which his troops started wearing cotton instead of wool because it was much more comfortable. In the 1st century AD, our Arab traders brought Indian cotton to Italy and Spain. Strabo, a Greek historian, mentions Indian Euro-Arabic trade in 1300 BCE, and it was known that Egyptians started growing and spinning their own cotton in the 660 BCE. In the 8th century, Muslim conquering Spain expanded European cotton trade. By 15th century, Venice built port for cotton trade. Sale of cotton was very profitable. Mid-14th century, Sir John Melville Darwin claimed to come across a tree in India with tiny lamps. Christopher Columbus, in exploration of Bahamas and Cuba, found natives weaving cotton, which might have gave him the wrong idea that he reached India. Vasco da Gama, a Portuguese explorer, opened up a sea trade route in place of land caravans, which gave opportunity to carry much heavier loads. Indian craftspeople protected their pattern-making abilities and talents, but once converted to Christianity, their secret was revealed by a French Catholic priest, which gave France a heads up in the textile industry. So we have all of these very separate places doing their own thing, seeing this, having the same plant, just figuring out by themselves what to do with it. If you're enjoying this content so far, please consider to like this video and subscribe to this channel for the algorithm. Maybe write a comment down below so algorithm knows that this video is pretty cool. Thank you. In the Middle Ages, cotton was very popular. It was still hand-woven with looms, and a spinning wheel was only invented in 1350, which greatly improved the speed of weaving. So during the Middle Ages, we have a lot of countries going into cotton industry. And in the 1690, Britain was faced with a very cheap cotton fabric, which was called calico. Because of its cheapness, Britain was faced with a lot of problems of actually making money by making cotton products. In 1721, it actually threatened British production of cotton in terms of making the government making calico in illegal fabric in both clothing and domestic use. But in the 1774, this was dissolved when Britain has invented machinery to aid in production of cotton. This allowed British manufacturers to actually compete with Eastern fabric cottons. The versatility allowed them to combine cotton with other types of fibers like linen, and cotton was actually used to make velvet, which was much cheaper than using silk. 1770, invention of spinning jenny a water frame, spinning edge row made Britain very profitable, having 15 to 40% of exports in the years from 1796 to 1806 by means of trading with its own colonies. Then industrial revolution hit. So in 1790 we got a jet water steam power engines. In 1830 there was lots of children working at mills just because of their little tiny hands, and they could go in the machinery and fix things that were happening. A lot of children got very sick because of all the inhalation of all the fibers, and some actually missing limbs because of getting stuck in the machinery. But these were the times people could not survive without having their kids work at factories. And the same goes for today. A lot of people are against child labor. I'm a mother, so I totally understand this. But in some countries, families cannot survive without having children work, without having children provide for their family. If they didn't have child workforce, then many of them would have died from starvation. There is always a flip side. Why do we have summer as a school break? Just because of farmers, they needed children to work their fields during the summer. It's not because school is amazing and they're letting kids, have fun in the summer. No, it was because farming, because they needed more people on the field. Anyways, getting a little bit wrapped up in this, let's get back to the history. The cotton plant itself needs a lot of sun, a medium tropical climate, and a medium rainfall. Gaining, which is separating fluff from seed, which is very difficult to do manually by hand. Then later spinning the fiber to make a yarn. In the 1791, US started their own production of cotton. This production was greatly revolved around slave labor. Gin Elo Whitney grown American cotton industry, which was limited by speed of manual removal of the seeds from the fiber. L.A. Whitney applied for a patent for his cotton gin on October 28th, 1793. This machine was able to extract the seeds from the cotton fibers, which made the process of cotton much faster and made US quite more profitable, just because they had slave laborers. They had this machine that actually reduced that time. And yeah, the majority of US slave labored states and states that didn't allow slave labor were due to their location. If the place had lots of farmland where the crops could grow, it was more likely to allow slave labor. But more of the industrial states, they did not allow slave labor. Cotton was the primary cash crop of the South. By the 1830s, US became majority cotton provider. The need for fertile land actually expanded slavery in the US to other states. Many slave-driven farms were having enormous cash flow, while states where slavery was banned, as it should have been in every state, the farms were small and not as profitable. Common sense, right? You're gonna have much more profit if you don't have to pay your workers, and your workers don't have any say in the matter of how many hours they work and how much rest they get. So, yes, that makes sense. And thank you to Abraham Lincoln for being a very nice person, a person with a common sense who was able to become a president and finally finish this horrible slavery thing. I'm Russian. We were slaves for 200 years. So, yeah, not fun. I wasn't, I'm okay. Anyways, cotton famine happened when there was too much cotton produced. There was too many cotton places. There was too much raw cotton. There was too much of actually cotton goods, and there were not enough of people to buy those goods. So many cutbacks had to happen in order to cut your losses. Because of the overstock, the prices on cotton plummeted, leading to demand of of raw cotton to subdue just because nobody really wanted it. Then the price of raw cotton increased by several 100% due to blockades and lack of imports. This was mostly felt in Britain. Many factories closed down the cotton production or reduced it to a minimum. Workers became unemployed. In the 1876, Egypt declared bankruptcy. In the 1882, British occupation of Egypt. And in 1892, insect 100-year problem for cotton, which introduced the use of pesticides on the fields to, control those little buggers. During this time, cotton became a great symbol for Indians' independence. During World War I, many mills closed down in Britain due to inability to export. This time, Japan created their own mills. India started boycotting anything that came from Britain. And by World War II, a new synthetic fiber was created by the name of polyester, which I'll probably make a different video about. So yes, today is a little different story. It's pretty popular, yes, but still, it's not as popular as it was before polyester. Let's just pause the polyester train here. Today, China is a top exporter of cotton with 24% of shares, US 19%, India 13%, and cotton value continues to decrease. Unfortunately, cotton today is used in so many ways. Most of the time it is used as a part of a blend to make a garment a little bit more breathable, a little more like moisture absorbent. Raw cotton can actually take up to 5 times its weight in moisture before it starts to being like wet. By adding different types of fibers to it, you can make a cotton item a little bit like more stain resistant or wrinkle control, like having polyester involved, just depending on what kind of fiber you introduce into the cotton. As far as I remember, my mom was telling me, look for 100% cotton, look for 100% cotton. I'm like, okay. So I'm looking around, buying things that are 100% cotton, but still those items have very different shelf life or wearable life. There is a huge difference between 100% cotton and 100% cotton. You're like, Maria, it's 100% cotton, but you can feel the same 100% cotton item and compare it to a different 100% cotton item, and they can feel very, very different. This depends on the type of, is it a woven item? Is it knitted item? Was this fabric treated in any way? Was it dyed? Did it have chemical treatment? How fine was the thread? Because usually for a knitted item, the thread doesn't have to be as sturdy, while if it is a woven item, for instance, a white shirt, it's a little bit more tough, and the thread that's used is tougher as well. Another thing about having differences in quality of 100% cotton shirt, I have a little show and tell. So I have bought this shirt maybe a couple of years ago, and it is 100% cotton, and it is from H&M. Fast fashion, yes. We have this 100% cotton shirt. I just liked the citrus on here. I had a citrus phase, okay? And I hope you guys can see that it started twisting the fabric. It's straight, right? But we have a seam that goes on a diagonal up here, and then the right seam is going to the back of the shirt. Why does this happen? This is due to poor cutting of the fabric. If the garment was like laid down and they were trying to save as much fabric as they could rather than cutting it the right way according to the fabric, this effect can be reduced. So why is this 100% cotton shirt costing twice as much as this one? Just because all of these little things were introduced. Maybe it was like double washed, so it's extra soft. Maybe it's, I don't know, there's some treatments done on it. Or maybe it's pure cotton and not like anything else. Anyway, so there's lots of little differences. Also, the type of plant and where it was grown also attributes to this difference. Like how much water it got, how much sun it got. all of these little things. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you learned something new. I would love to do a little bit more of these types of videos just to have more understanding of textiles, of fibers, why are they different, how are they made. I think it's very interesting to find that out, and you're a little bit more involved in what you're wearing, what you're buying. Once again, if you haven't subscribed already, please do so, as this really helps out my channel in growing. It motivates me to make more content and it actually may lead to me having this as a full-time job. Once again, I have another video about silk. It might be more interesting than this one, so if you like this video, check that one out for sure. I hope you guys have a great day. Yeah, stay classy. Bye.